Dear Pixie, you asked us, are we living in a sophisticated quantum computer game, and is reality multidimensional? One could use this quantum computer game analogy as a most aligned metaphor for your reality. Yet awareness of the organic structure must be taken into one's processing here. A quantum computer game explains only that which you know as algorithm, number, geometric pattern, the living matrix. This is artificial intelligence only, if you will. Combine your quantum computer game with highly sophisticated quantum intelligence and knowing, and you have a simulated reality pattern that would match the service to self infrastructure. Add to this unconditional love, compassion, empathy and unity, emerald ray, higher heart, to that mix, and you have a simulated reality pattern that matches the service to others' spiral of light construct, if you will. Is reality multidimensional? Reality will be experienced as you believe it to be so. We repeat, reality will be experienced as you believe it to be so. Yet true reality, experienced from your vantage point, is indeed multidimensional, as you would experience, understand, know and interact with multiple dimensions. Yet in the truest reality, the reality itself as a unified matrix field, not experienced by you in your physical third dimensional or emotional fourth dimensional reality, then true reality would not be multidimensional, as there is only one dimension, that of unity. You asked us, how many subtle light bodies are there on top of this physical avatar? The amount of subtle light bodies, and subtle light bodies is in itself an allegory, are infinite, for you are individualized infinity structures, or certainly on the path to becoming such. However, for the sake of third dimensional interpretation and processing, we, the higher self construct, or indeed the subtle light bodies as you put them, present in structures of 3, 7 and 12. From another vantage point, one would say 9. 7 has been the root structure for physically incarnated organisms upon your planet Earth for the majority of your known history. Previous to that, and in the time that is now, the harmonic light bodies come online, if you will, bringing the ability to understand and process, and therefore embody, the templates of 12. This is a necessary step in your cosmic evolution and is part of your ascension. The 3 is the understanding of the Holy Trinity, the Trine or the Triad as an energetic light construct of who and what you are. The 9 is that which comes online as you reach completion planetary-wide, galactically, and individually. However, from the line of intention created when asking your question, we would reply with 7, upgrading to 12 with infinite harmonic layers in between each subtle light body, showing you these harmonic layers as part of a fractalized light system, so you may understand the infinite nature of which we speak. However, we see that although you ask this question, you ask this for curiosity of another construct's perspective, and somewhat for confirmation, as you yourself are a soul who already holds awareness of such that is the answer, within your fields. We recognize and we honor your knowing. You asked us, why does nature permit bowel movement, rot, pains and diseases? That which you refer to as nature is twofold in its presentation. Polarity, or opposing ends of the spectrum, if you will, would be seen as creation and destruction. In a polarized reality, there must be both expressions. One processes the energetic frequency into that which you know as learning through death and birth. However, this polarity allows for transcendence and integration as rebirth enters the polarity, creating a trine and the circle around it. This is as it is, and there is no permitting or allowing involved in this natural cycle as is referenced within your quest. If permitting were to be brought into play, then the onus would be upon you, if you will, within the physical third dimension. Yet this is your anchor, and transcendence and integration only comes about with the step up into the higher fractal field of expression you know as ascension. The bowel movement, therefore, is the byproduct of energy creation, and is entirely different in its energy patterning to rot, pain and disease. The bowel movement in the healthy organic human individual is part of the creative template, not the destructive one. This is offered back to the overall circle, spiral that is nature, once the trine is understood, not through consummation as self, but consummation as nature or environment as self. However, the bowel movement has its connections with rot, pain and disease, as it is a precursor to and a symptom of such in the unhealthy individual. Therefore, it may be viewed as part of the destructive cycle. Yet the bowel movement is the precursor and symptom of both disease and health, the destructive and the creational. In those who transcend to higher states, the bowel movement disappears within the human organism, although this is the individualized transcendent path and does not necessarily occur within collective planetary ascension. Rot, that which is disintegration, is the end of the linear cycle, part of the destructive aspect. But when perceived and understood as the doorway to the creative aspect, then the linear becomes cyclical, and this is the true nature. That which rots can be given back to the earth, given back to nature, and new life springs from it. Rot is therefore the precursor to rebirth, and is only experienced within a linear physical experience as rot. Pain is that which is experienced when an aspect is out of alignment, therefore part of the destructive phase. Yet pain brings with it great opportunity for learning and growth, which leads to transformation. Disease, the imbalance and opposing force to ease, is also the precursor back into it. Therefore we say, it is not permitted or allowed by nature. It is the natural force within third-dimensional polarity existence that is chosen by the one who moves into the experience of separation and linear time-space reality. Yet so too is this polarity expression part of that which has been infiltrated and hijacked, the true reality being beyond linear and creational, of life and pro-life. The creational cycle, the upswing, the ascension, This is the solar experience within nature as opposed to the lunar. Yet it is the experience of the disintegration that creates the drive and desire for integration. We repeat, it is the experience of the disintegration that creates the drive and desire for integration. It is the experience of death that creates the longing for rebirth. And it is the experience of birth that creates the understanding of what death truly means. For birth is death, and death is birth. When this is understood, then the cycle, the spiral of life, is experienced rather than the linear. It is that which you call bowel movement, pain and disease that acts as the catalyst into the transformation from linear into non-linear, matter into antimatter, and separation into unity. Once the catalyst is understood, there is no longer the need for the catalyst, and thus you have the formula for true healing. We are the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. In this channeled transmission, I enter into an expansive, transformative and activating exploration of interdimensional dialogue, discussing the mechanics of Stargate Ascension. This cutting-edge information holds key codes, maps and coordinates for the starseeds on Earth, as they go through this process of DNA reconstruction and regrouping of cosmic memory themselves. The significant codex of information is downloaded to the reader, as they, through this sacred text, are called by the dragon, Excalibur, crystalline light geometry, Atlantis, and the emerald flame. I am so very pleased to present my new book, The Infinite Helix and the Emerald Flame,